right screen on. Okay, welcome to YouTube Live. I'm Damien Edwards, Commercial Manager of Bitrix24 Partners Interface. With me I've got our Support Manager, Andy Naylor.
Hi guys, so we're going to be live for the next hour. We can answer any questions that you may have on Bitrix, whether that may be on the cloud or the self-hosted version of Bitrix. We can answer any questions, and we can show you live on screen the answers to those questions. So I think we've had a couple of questions come in already.
Yeah, so put your questions in the YouTube chat window or email them to live@interface.com. And yeah, we've had a few questions this week about email integration. So there's been a few changes, I think, to email integration. Been quite a lot of developments on that side. Been one or two issues, I think, that be resolved. We've had to resolve. So we're going to go through how email integration now works with Bitrix.
Yeah, certainly. So Bitrix now has an inbuilt web client, email client, and it's fairly straightforward for you to set up. And I'll just go through how we can do that. So if we click into the webmail link here, you can see we already have our email integrated as a test account here. We've got interface demo at outlook.com. And what Bitrix offers you, you can see, is the ability to receive and send emails straight from inside Bitrix itself. So to set it up, you would come into here and you would normally, if I wanted to add a new account, you would see a similar screen to this. So you can select from all the popular email clients, and you can even connect your, if you don't have one of those, you can even connect your IMAP details up and pull in your emails. And then once you've connected it, you'll get a few settings that you can decide how you want the integration to work inside Bitrix. So you can see here we have the CRM integration. And what you can do is, if you have linked to CRM, what on its own, like we have here, what that will do is every email that you receive into your inbox and every email that you send out, you don't have to send out with Bitrix, you can send out with your email client such as Outlook or Gmail. You don't have to send them from inside Bitrix. But what it will do, it will look at who you are sending the email to or who you have received it from. If they exist in your CRM, then it will append that email to that contact or company in the CRM. So that means you'll have a history and quite a transparent view of all incoming emails received from your contacts or your companies in your CRM. So that's how the integration works. If you want to, you can allow the creation of a new lead for all incoming messages that don't exist in the CRM already. So if a client emails you and they're not in your CRM as a contact or a company or a lead already, it will generate a new lead. And the opposite, so when you send an email out, it will check if that contact that you're emailing exists in your CRM, and if it does, then it won't create a new contact. But if it doesn't exist already, it will create a new contact. So it's up to you completely what you decide to set these preferences as. One of the key things, you can connect multiple email accounts. So what we tend to see with our clients is they would set up an email account for things such as, for the sole purpose of generating leads. So if we have sales at Interface or hello at Interface, then you can see, you can specify the lead source. So what we would do here is, if we were to use interface demo at outlook.com to generate leads, then we can specify that lead source. And what the power of that is that in your CRM automation for your leads, you can have a condition to say if your lead has come from your sales email source, then you can therefore create the automation for that.
Okay, so we had a question about email. So when there are multiple pipelines in the CRM and a contact has a few active deals across all of them, how does email communication work? So how do we deal with answers from a contact that are not re-emails? I'm not too sure what that last bit means, but your question in terms of if you have multiple pipelines this year and a contact has a few active deals across them all, how does email communication work? Well, I mean, email communication works on a contact record, so not too sure why.
Yeah, so I think I know what you're referring to. So if you've got emails that are solely for that opportunity, then you want those emails to be nested inside the opportunity itself rather than being nested inside a company or a contact.
Right.
I think the only way to do that is if you email from an opportunity, so a deal inside the CRM. So if you go into the CRM here and email, I do believe this is right after a conversation with one of our developers the other day. So if you click into here and you email straight out, so if I click into email and send the email this way, then if they were to reply to this email, what Bitrix does is put the deal in its header of the email, so it's hidden, and if they were to reply to that email, it would get nested into this particular opportunity. So that tends to be the only way of how they would go into and work on that particular opportunity.
Okay, we have another question here. How do holidays get how do you get holidays left counter in a user profile? So you're probably referring to if we go into our self-hosted version here and go into a user's profile, then we're able to see remaining holiday entitlement 4.5 days and any up and coming absence on the right hand side of the profile page. So Bitrix allows you to users to book holidays and has a process where those can be approved or rejected, and then you can see in a calendar just when people are off on leave. You can't actually, as standard, create a holiday entitlement, so you can't assign 20 days per annum to a user. We have a plugin which we developed as a partner, which we're looking at it now, which allows you to assign allows you to assign an entitlement per user, and we can change these figures and then save them for individuals, so everyone can have different entitlements, and you can see current book days, pending days and remaining days on a management dashboard as we have here, and then individuals can see those on their own profile page. So it is a plugin that we've developed. It is available for sale if you have a self-hosted version, and then as we're looking at now, you can create some settings in the back end here, so you can do things like if you can also book in half days, so and you can define the start, the AM and the PM times on this page. You can define your public holidays as well as your working week. So,
yeah, I think one of the good things with this is that we have a number of clients. We have a location in Dubai. They've got a different working week. So if we wanted to specify the user group who are associated to that working office, then we could say the weekend days instead are going to be Friday and Sunday, for an example. Mm-hmm. And that allows us to create multiple holidays. So if you've got locations in different places, you can associate those users to that working pattern. Mm-hmm. And just going back to requesting that leave, is if you were to book a holiday over the weekend that specifies these days, then it wouldn't take into account those weekend days. So if you were to book 2 weeks off and it goes over the middle of Saturday and Sunday, it would be 10 days, obviously, rather than the 12 days it was to book off.
Yeah, and recharge holidays. So you've got the option here to recharge at the end of your calendar year back to the beginning, or you can set a default so that those holidays that are left are actually roll over into the next year. So it's all covered in this absence management plugin, which I say is available as a plugin on our website. You need a self-hosted version to install that. So we've had a question from a partner asking whether they should focus on offering cloud or offering the on-premise solution. So we sell both. We sell both cloud and on-premise, and it depends really. You should focus on what's right for the client. So sometimes if they have very standard requirements and if there's no particular requirements with additional features you have on the self-hosted, or if they don't need any customization, they don't really want their own branding or anything like that on the system, then the cloud is the one that you should offer for them. If you can find some reasons why actually the self-hosted is going to be better for them, then that's a better product to sell. It's better for the client. It gives them a lot more opportunities to roll it out across different areas of their business, to integrate with other systems within their business, and to get a lot more out of it. So sell both, and depending on which one is right for them.
We've got another question here. Is it possible to use web forms to trigger workflows or tasks? And
web form can create a lead in the system. So let's have a look at in the CRM. So a web form can create a lead or a contact to a company in the system. Let's say you create a form. Let's just have a quick look in forms, and we'll show you that.
I think the main thing that you would need to focus on if you were to use this form to generate a workflow is the actual source. Do a condition in the automation to say if it was coming from CRM form XYZ, then do this automation. If it was coming from CRM form ABC, do that automation. And that's how we would generally recommend it.
So yeah, absolutely. So let's say we're going to specify a lead. So this form is going to create a new lead in the system. If we go into leads and have a look at the automation and see how we build that condition inside there. Click into list, open up one of our
Investing.
Okay. Configure automation rules. So what we want to do is what do they want to do? Possible word for to trigger a workflow or task. So you're creating a task essentially.
So if you want, so you're triggering this workflow. If you wanted to create a task, then you would put your condition in here, and you would have source equals, and then you would be able to find the CRM form. There you go. Equals. Okay. And then you can see the bottom one, CRM form.
So we should be able to specify the actual CRM form, and if you've just got one, or whether you can't actually specify it, it's from any. Maybe you can't. Maybe it's maybe you have to. Maybe it's just general. Any CRM form will generate. Maybe you can't specify individual forms, but certainly create the form to set the form so it creates a lead. Create the condition so that only new leads that are created from that form create the task, and then specify the details of the task, the name, the description, the responsible. Can we specify some other fields down here? Start and end date. Quite a lot of stuff you can specify inside here. So yeah, I think if you had, a standard, you can't specify the individual form. If you had a self-hosted, I think you could do a little customization on that.
I think the other way of doing that, just to touch upon the forms itself, is if you didn't want to use a CRM web form, so if you didn't want to use a CRM form here, let's just jump back into our cloud, and you could use the REST API to create a lead or to create a task or something like that. So if you are looking at doing that, then you can simply go into, whether you're on the cloud package or the self-hosted, then you click into the Applications section of Bitrix, click into webhooks, and what you can do is you can create an inbound webhook. So if you click create an inbound webhook, and let's just say we're going to call this web form, then you can specify here what you want to push into post to Bitrix essentially via the REST API. We could say the CRM. Click into save, and then what you'll do is you'll get a REST call example URL, and then all you would need to do from that is use one of the REST API actions. So if we just Google Bitrix API, so if we just Google that and click into REST help here, then you can see, if we were to go to the CRM, you can see all the available API options in here. So if we wanted to, for example, create a new lead, and then this will give you an example of what we can post to Bitrix using the API. And if you do want some more information, please do get in touch with us. I think we do have our contact details here. We can help with, like I say, any customization requests.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can do that on the cloud or on the self-hosted, can't you, with webhooks, and there's quite a lot you can do there. Yeah.
And you can integrate those webhooks as well with the automation, so you can trigger, can't you, with an inbound webhook, and then you can also post out of Bitrix using the automation tools with an outbound.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, so you can. So what we're looking at here is different stages across this lead, and here are the rules or actions that will be performed when these stages are activated. So that's assuming you change the stage manually, a person changes the stage manually, but you can use where's it gone?
This one up.
Webhooks. Yeah, you can use webhooks here. So an external system can change or update the stage of this lead. And you can do other things like viewed email is quite a good one, isn't it? Or clicked on link or something in email. So as part of the process, if you're sending out an email, if they view it, they open it, that can then update the stage. That suggests that there's a level of interest. You might want to progress that lead a little bit. Certainly if they clicked on something, then again, you might want to progress it. You might want to change the stage of a lead if they've clicked on a link in an email, and then on that new stage you might just want to notify the responsible person for the lead that they've actually clicked on that link. So common use, I guess.
We've got a question that says, when editing a list item in workflows, what is the item ID? So if you're asking actually what the item ID is for, so if we go into our workflows here, we'll have a look at the workflows in the activity stream, and let's just have a absence lead. Have we got one? Let's just have a look at the new project. So if you're referring to the actual ID field that is here, it's essentially auto-generated from the system, and what it would essentially allow you to do is, if I clicked into this here, it would allow you to link to, if you were to use it in your workflow, it would allow you to link to that specific entry that's been created. So if you put that URL in here, we could then use the ID to just essentially put it into this section here, and that would allow you to create a dynamic link. But all it is essentially is an ID that's generated by Bitrix that's unique for this particular list. Okay,
how do services e-orders work? Can you process these? Who can process these requests? So services. This is only on the self-hosted. We've got e-orders set up here. So on the self-hosted, you have a few different features in this services section. To be honest, we probably don't use e-orders a lot, but let's have a quick look. So this is a module if you want to allow people to order stationery and equipment internally, generally. So they need to order some office supplies. then you've got a form here which allows them to order, and then they can review their orders here. So I think at the back end of this, there'll be a business process that sends an approval to somebody before that order is processed. To be honest, yeah, let's say we don't really use that too much, so I'm not too familiar with how that works. It's not really a mainstream features, but I think if you wanted to use e-ordering, I mean, you could do the same thing in the activity stream here. So you could create a process up here that has a form. We've got purchase requests. So you could create a form like this. This could be a drop down of the products. And then you could put in your quantity and submit that for approval. That would then generate a workflow approval, which a department head or the right person would receive. They can then approve that and dispatch the item in that way. You'll be able to see a list of your orders as well, wouldn't you? You see them in here, my workflows. My requests, you should be able to see them in my requests in this list view and see when they've been processed.
Yeah, you could see that, or you could actually link with, if you had the right permissions, if you said the purchase request here, you could actually link to this page, couldn't you? And you could just have this a link on the left-hand menu that said link to my request, and you'd be able to see all your purchase requests in this particular area.
Yeah. Using 3CX system, my understanding is I would need to use the Pro version of 3CX and then connect to Bitrix via a webhook. Is there any additional cost from Bitrix? So 3CX have developed integration with Bitrix. It's pre-developed and it's available in the marketplace. Let's go back into this. One. Applications. So if you go to your applications, then you should be able to find 3CX within here. You can search by category. Under CRM? No.
Telephony. It could be.
So you've got asterisks there. You've got Ring Central. Actually, maybe the 3CX app isn't available in the marketplace, but they have developed integration. If you search for Bitrix24 3CX integration, then that's there. Okay, so it's available and it's something we've used, and it works on to a certain extent. It's limited in its functionality, so we've developed a much more advanced integration with 3CX. So we have that pre-developed, so if you wanted to use that, I'm not sure if you can do that on the cloud or you need a self-hosted solution. I'd have to check that, but you can try this for free. There won't be any additional costs for this. It's developed by 3CX, so it encourages you to use their phone system. So you can try that. If it doesn't contain all the functionality you want, things like recording, being able to record phone calls inside Bitrix, things like having caller IDs and things like that, pulling phone numbers through. If it doesn't do all that integration, all that features that you need, then get in touch with us and we have our own integration. We would generally charge about $700, $750 for that integration that we've developed. So yeah, you've got options, but you're on the right phone system there, I think, because it's quite well supported.
So we've got a question. I have the self-hosted version and I want to integrate a Dialogflow chatbot to Bitrix live chat. How can I do that? I would first of all just have a check to see what chatbots are available in where we are now in the application store. So I think it does have a few, doesn't it, with live chat. Chatbots here. So you can see on here Some of the, I'm not 100% sure what all these are because we've not used them. So this is the first port of call you should have a look at. If you want to integrate a chatbot, I'm not sure what the development would be on that side of things. It's not something that we've developed as of yet, but I think it would be possible. It would just take a little bit more investigating of what is included in that.
Yeah. Can we add an extranet user as a processor in leave/expenses workflow? So to explain extranet users, they are of course free and unlimited in an unlimited number within Bitrix, and they are generally your customers or your suppliers or the third parties that you want to collaborate with. They have access to every feature within a work group, so let's hope they can access the chat or the full activity stream and communicate within there. They can access the drive, you can share documents with them, task calendars, photos, all these features that we see within a work group. So actually quite a big part of Bitrix can be accessed by extranet users. Too many areas they can't access are CRM and HR, so that includes things like the absence leave, absence chart. So for obvious reasons, internal people generally access sales information and the HR tools, and the work groups are for sharing with external people. If you wanted to create a process, though, particularly for expenses or something, you could certainly create a process that could be approved by an extranet user. You could actually create a process for leave approval, but they couldn't actually access the standard leave chart because they don't have access to that. So you could create a completely new process using a calendar, a work group and a calendar, and give access to an extranet user. But
the only thing with that is they wouldn't be able to access what we're accessing here on the activity stream. So when we come into the activity stream here, click on more and workflow, extranet users don't have this option. So as Damien said, what you would need to do is focus on your expenses process using the lists module in your extranet group, and if it was an expenses for that particular extranet client, then you would create the list, you would create all the fields within the list in customized fields, and then you could configure the approval process within this particular configure workflow section. So it would only be, they only get access to everything that's in the work group, they don't get access to all the, like Timmy mentioned, all the other features. So
if you wanted to have a large number of users on a small user license, then you have to find a workaround for it really, and there is, but it might not be ideal for you. But yeah, here's one for Andy. How do I create another site in my on-site Bitrix version?
So I mean,
on-premise.
If you've got, so just be careful with when you create a new site. Your license allows you to have 2 sites. So if you've got an intranet and an extranet, that'll class as your 2 sites. As soon as you add a third site, your license will come up with a warning to tell you that you've got too many sites, and you wouldn't be able to you wouldn't be able to apply the updates.
Unless you have an enterprise, of course.
Unless you have an enterprise.
Which you can create unlimited sites. We're talking about, to clarify, self-hosted version. You can, if you have one of the CRM or business packages, 2 sites. If you've got the enterprise, any number of sites.
So yeah, I do believe this is an enterprise. I think no, it's not. So if you want to add a new site anyway, if you've got one site and you want to create another, click on the control panel and then go to settings. Just close this down. And then if you go into system settings and then websites, you can see here how you can add a new site here. And then you click on the add site and you'll go through the normal process of creating a site.
You can see that we've got 4 sites here, but only two are actually active. So you can create as many as you want, I guess, and
yeah.
2 are active.
If you want to create an extranet site, and so say for example you've only got the S1, which is your main site on your main intranet on a self-hosted version. If you want to create an extranet site, then what I tend to do if you've not done it through the builder when you start installing the on-premise, you can go to modules, you can scroll down, scroll to the extranet. I would remove it and then reinstall it, and then when you reinstall the extranet, it'll say run the site setup wizard, and then you'll be able to create your extranet on a particular URL. So yeah, so that's for the extranet, but if you want to create a new site, go to your websites and you can apply the templates and things such as that.
Okay. Put up our contact details, so get in touch with us if you've got any questions afterwards for next week. So if you've got any questions that you want or work you want us to look at, customization or training, or indeed if you just want a demo of the system, a full demo, if you're just looking at purchasing, then we can do that.
I think you raised the question about the item ID again. I think I just need to see it. I think our contact details are on here, so if you want to drop an email to myself, Andy at intraface.com, and just send me the screenshot of where you mean, then I'll be able to provide you with an answer to that. And that just goes to say as well, whilst our details are up here, so we're here every Thursday at 10 AM Eastern Time, and if you do come up with questions throughout the week, please do send them in to live@intraface.com, and we can pick them up straight away on next week's session.
Yeah, so send us any more questions you've got.
Is the Mia bot still available? So I installed an on-premise version yesterday, and in the user list the Mia bot was actually installed on that one. I don't think we have it. Oh, if we just click back into our it's not on our on-premise version. I say I installed an on-premise yesterday, and she was there. So
how do I turn off the Bitrix24 text at the bottom of an automated email? This is a setting. This is a tick box deep within the settings somewhere, isn't it? I think.
So if we go into the CRM, so I think when you're sending an email out, it does say sent from Bitrix, does it? Sent by Bitrix.
Yeah.
And then if we go into the settings, click on other, and click on other settings. I think it moved last time. I think it's in one of these settings here. Have a look, see if it's. Go on to. Oh, there we go. There we go. It is on one of these settings on here. Incoming.
Nope.
No, unless it's. Yeah, I think it was.
We'd have to get back to you. It's. There is a way, or there certainly used to be a way of removing that.
Unless because we're on the self-hosted. Let me just quickly check any questions, other questions do come in. Let's have a look on the cloud. I think that might be because we are on the self-hosted and actually it's not being sent from.
So go into settings and other, and then you've got quite a lot of different settings.
There we go. Add sent by Bitrix to the signature. So on the self-hosted, that option's obviously not there, but on the cloud, we can have this gets appended, sent by Bitrix24 to all your emails that you send out of the CRM. So if you do want to remove that, just go into CRM, settings, other settings, and then it's on your activity tab here, and it's just this signature.
Okay, how do I hide fields in the CRM? So this has changed recently, I think. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at this. So this applies across all modules. So all modules in the CRM, the fields within each module can be customized. Let's have a look in a company field. And it's changed a little bit. So if we go into this company record, you've got a settings box here. Okay, so we've got slightly different settings on there as we have got on, let's have a look in the cloud version.
I think they're both the same, I think, now.
So if we go into a company, switch to common form view.
Yeah, that's right. So
okay, set. Okay, yeah. So we have switch to my form view and switch to common form view. So we're currently on common form view, which means that what I'm seeing, everybody else is seeing. It's one view for all users. And as an administrator, if I'm an admin of the system, I can set this view so that force this view on everybody else. So I can make a change. I can choose to select. So these are the fields we have available. You've got settings on the side here to hide them or always show. So you can actually, by default, the fields are hidden if they're not populated. So that can be quite useful if you've got a very large number of fields and they're not always populated. I can change that setting and I can force that setting on all of the users. I can select a field, so I'll put in annual revenue in here, and I can choose to show that field regardless of whether it's populated or not. The reason why you might want to do that is that if it's visible in the non-edits page, in the normal view page view, then I can click straight into it and we can add description to the field and save it. So it saves you having to go into the whole record. So I've added an annual revenue field into the company view. I can now set common form view for all users. So if I tick on that, that's now going to be forced on all of the users.
I think what's quite important in this to note is that we are administrators in this particular system on the cloud. Now, if you're not an administrator, so you're a normal sales rep going into the CRM, you won't be able to see, that user would not see the cog icons or see the select or add field or delete section. It's fixed for what the administration sets those fields to be and those sections to be.
They can change this. They can change this though.
Well, they can edit the fields that you've shown, but they won't be able to add.
Yeah.
To do for a normal sales rep to be able to customize their own view, the whole purpose of the common view and the my view, if they switch to the my form view, then they will see, you can see this is a completely different layout, they will see their own cog icons and be able to move. So we always say, and it is quite a popular feature, that the admins set the layout, what they want their sales reps to see, and it's a fixed layout for those reps.
Yeah, so that's different to how it used to work. So it's up here. I'll play around with that. Okay.
So we've got just a few minutes left. So I don't know if you want to get if anybody's got any final questions in. And again, our details are on the screen to take down if you do have any questions throughout the week.
So we've got a question about how to customize a PDF template within a quote. So let's go into quotes. Then I think you've got documents now pretty much in every single module. You can generate a document from that module. Looking at quotes, let's open a quote, and we have these documents available. So we've got 5 templates, probably not out of the box ones we've probably created, ones we'll be demoing it.
I think they are out of the box.
Oh,
I think if you add a template,
if
you add a new template there and click on the gear icon.
Okay, so we can see what we've got there.
So those are the templates that you can preload, and those are the preloaded ones for the UK.
Okay, so so I guess when you first get your new Bitrix, then they're not going to load because they don't know which region you want to load. So that's a good tip. Go into the templates into here and load your templates. Once you've got your templates, you can edit which modules that template's available in, who's available to. If you download it, it downloads as a Word document, and you can then change that Word document. The other thing you need to know about fields are the fields. So it uses these references to be able to pull the information in. So quote close date, so you might want to specify the date that quote is valid until. This is the field that you need to use on your Word document. Download the Word document, copy and paste that into the Word document in the right area of the document, and then it will pull in that information. You'll find that there's a lot of fields in here. In fact, we have 3,000 fields which are available. Might be because we've got some custom fields in this system, so can pull in custom fields as well. If I take source, oh no, you have to look at the source. So we can look at, so there'll be different fields available in different modules. We're looking at quote there. We can obviously look at fields available in.
I mean, the reason why there's a lot of fields to be able to choose from, especially on a quote, is because a quote can be assigned to a company, it can be assigned to a contact, a lead, and a deal. So if it is assigned to those different elements, it can pull in the information. So let's just say the quote is assigned to a company, it can pull in, or in this case you can see here, it's assigned to a contact. You can pull in fields from first name, last name, address, and so on from the company or contact.
So it works across all modules. You can pull the information you need. So you might want to pull in the information about the quote, the products on the quote, the lead time, the price, but also you're going to need to pull in probably their company name and address and those sort of things as well from the associated record.
And I think just the final point on that is the document tool, the document generator tool, is a really powerful one now in Bitrix, because it's not just quotes and invoices you can design the templates for pretty easily. You can actually start using the documents for contracts, for proposals, for delivery notes, pretty much any document you can think of that you want to pull in the information from whichever one of these sections, you can generate a document for. And once you do so let's click on document here, we generate the actual document itself. You'll be able to see a preview, and then you'll be able to download as a PDF, download as a Word document, and find it on a public link, or we can simply click on send and send the quote via an email.
Okay, any plans to remove the Bitrix24 branding from emails sent from freemium plans would highly increase new signups. So the free package has obviously some limitations in terms of this one that you specified here, and I would say that it's very likely that that's going to be removed. So Bitrix is sold on a freemium model, so the free package I think is very comprehensive. You can do nearly everything on the free package that you can on the commercial packages, but there's some there's some things you can do on a commercial package that you can't do on the free package. So I would say no. So you need to sign up, but you can sign up for a plus plan about $24 a month. I think it's
yeah. I think as soon as you start going into the paid versions, you get the automation, which is a huge aspect of how people run their businesses on Bitrix. And like you say, it's just $24 a month. It's not a high cost as such for having access to so many features and so many tools. I think
if you're using it across all large areas of your business, then it can the extra features that are unlocked from the commercial packages pay for themselves many times over. You get support as well with your a commercial package. So. Bitrix has a whole range of packages, starting from free up through the cloud packages to $200 a month, and then you've even got the more advanced self-hosted packages. Then you can pay quite a bit more for those, but again you get more. The more you pay, the more you get out of the system, depending on what your requirements are, depending on which package is right for you, I guess. So it doesn't look like we've got any more questions. If you want to register for webinars, we have a webinar on a Monday at midday Eastern Time, and go to intraface.com/webinars and sign up or subscribe to Bitrix24 on YouTube and Intraface on YouTube, and you'll receive notifications when we're live on a Thursday. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
For your time. See you next time.